Welcome back, everybody, to BBC versus Hellraisers. Whoops. There we go. There's the right screen. Welcome back to BBC versus Hellraisers. Man, that was one hell of a game, number one, man. BBC pulled out some kind of raw savaging up against Hellraisers. It was really interesting to see how they were able to find, whether it was one-on-one or two versus one, or sometimes as a whole entire group, they were able to find the kind of penetrations necessary to really take it to Hellraisers. And after multiple penetrations, turns out Girthy Slark is enough to be able to win the game for them. But we'll see whether or not they've blown their load too early, as Balkan Bears, well, Hellraisers rather, have certainly stood out to be some stiff competition. And in the past, we'll see whether or not they can actually make a comeback in game number two. So, on our hands, game number two draft, bringing in Blaze. Blaze, what do you think? Hellraisers, can they do it? Can they make the comeback? It's been a rough couple of games.
Certainly has. Yeah, it's a tough act to follow. BBC putting out so much aggressive pressure, and Hellraiser's kind of still stuck in this banning rut, where they have to take out Troll and Sniper because BBC have the first pick. There's a lot of potential ganking plays coming through, and it's very difficult to withstand on all fronts. They had a decent strategy going into it, but the problem was they had a flypaper lineup, and they were crushed so expertly. And I thought that the Rubik was a counter pick to the Earthshaker first pick, but it seems like it's just something that BBC are very comfortable with running, no matter the case. Yapsor played it amazingly. He was definitely practically a core at the level that he played, and just in general, they were able to really outmaneuver the side of Hellraisers, and Rubik played a big part of that with all the disables he was able to steal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Yapsor, if he wants to draft himself the Rubik, like, normally I'm going to give the drafter a little bit of shit, like, oh, you're going to draft your hero first. I see how it is. But, hey, let's be real. Yapsor, man, had an amazing game one, and you can't really blame him feeling the confidence going into game number two to first pick that Rubik and say, what you got, Hellraisers? You got to deal with me all game long. Once again, I mean, how do you can't really draft against a Rubik that well, right? I mean, you just can't be like, no, we're just not going to get any abilities that are good. Like, that's just not an option. So, Hellraisers, it's still a decent opening for Balkan Bears, and Hellraisers have a lot to think about it seems, as they are using a lot of their reserve time for their first two picks.
Yeah, right here, they're at the very first pick. They're at a fork in the road, and they are deciding whether or not they want to flood the map with amazing spells, or if they just want to pick up a couple that are going to get stolen from pretty frequently, but still, for the most part, reserve their potential to the heroes themselves rather than the spell. So attacks and stats, it would be a high priority for some things. But since I've already picked up the Storm Spirit, who's offering the ball lightning, maybe they're okay with giving away at least mobility tools. So maybe they'll go for a bit of a blinking lineup, not so much a damage and disable lineup, because Rubik crushed it last time, stealing impales and fissures and light strike arrays and all this stuff. Like, really, Yapsor really thrived in the time periods where he was able to steal controlling abilities. So consider the Storm Spirit, his Electric Vortex isn't that big of a deal. As long as the Ancient Apparition casts a spell after his Ice Blast, that shouldn't be in Rubik's hands, and I think they're going around this pretty well.
What was that? Was Yapsor just like spamming the button? He's like, Queen of Pain, 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 I want the Queen of Pain. Because, like, the moment Ancient Apparition was taken by Hellraisers, immediately Balkan Bears were like, Queen of Pain. There it is. We have it in our hands finally. I guess they just had that ahead in response to the Storm Spirit and the slightly stuttered Ancient Apparition second pick, but that is some heavy confidence from Balkan Bears coming into game number two. What do you think about this Ancient Apparition pick, though, from HR? It's kind of interesting seeing him as the second pick.
Yeah, I mean, it gives the initiation in their hands, right? Like, essentially, like, what you usually see is an Ice Blast fly out in advance on a hero that they think they can go on. If the circle surrounds that hero, Storm jumps. He goes for the ball, he gets the kill. And that's going to be setting up a lot of momentum for that Storm Spirit, because he's a hero that can not only engage and get the kill, but disengage out. And there are only a couple heroes that really can do that effectively in the mid game. Storm Spirit and I think Centaur are my two favorites in that regard. You get the jump, you get the damage, and you get right back out with an extra ability or two. So I think that this is a pretty good combo, but they're going to have to build around it with something that will really synergize. Maybe create space for a Spectre pick for phase two.
Yeah, perhaps. It's Zeus is still on the table technically for Hellraisers, unless it's banned out and I didn't miss it. No, I didn't. Hellraisers could technically get a little bit more global with a Zeus pickup if they wanted to put Storm Spirit in the safe lane as well. If they really, really wanted to fully commit to that kind of strategy, but we'll have to see. I do like that Hellraisers ban away the Meepo again in the second phase. Seems like that's what many teams are doing versus Balkan Bears, just because, hey, the Meepo, it's something that is sort of a surprise pickup that it's just a different kind of Dota entirely, right? It's something that's really hard to deal with. So most teams, I've noticed this, if Balkan Bears ever want to get the Meepo in their hands, they have to first one to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with that comes some real risks. I mean, we've seen when some teams pick up the Meepo in phase one, then suddenly they're going to be counteracted by a lot of heroes who, at the very least, can manage the Meepo really well, and it's just not a favorable game for them. They don't want to pick it up phase one because of counterpicking, and phase two or three, it's often banned out. So we see them following through with the Earthshaker pickup, banning out the Disruptor. I mean, Disruptor has a number of reasons that he's really good, but the static storm control and the storm spirit would probably be the highest on the list, and glimpsing back if he's close to a kill but not quite cinched it. But yeah, supports coming out for phase two. Do you think these are the ideals? I mean, Venge and Lion aren't even mentioned.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that Lion's not picked up on either side, to be honest. Lion's so good versus both Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit. Can I real quickly just point out that Hellraisers are out of reserve time, and that's because Balkan Bears are, like, continue. Look at that. Like, Earthshaker picked up, instantly Skywrath Mage. Shadow Fiend picked up, instantly Faceless Void. They're not even waiting for, like, counterpicking or any of that nonsense. They know what their full lineup is, and they're really putting Hellraisers into crunch time now.
Yeah. I actually like that strategy. If you really know kind of the draft you want to work around and you see the bans, you're like, okay, Meepo Disruptor, we don't have to really alter our strategy to do that. Skywrath Void is a great synergy combo. It's definitely something they're comfortable with. And the one thing I'm questioning is this Void going to the offlane? Because the last time I saw Massacre play a Void, the current steers really weren't on point, so either he maybe needed to practice some bots games. Or,
I think I remember that one. Was that the one completely whiffed Chronosphere at one point?
He caught allies in it. He got he was up against, I think it was Sing Sing's team, Burning United. So like the doppelganger screwing him over left and right. It wasn't a great Void game in general, but it was particularly hard on his count, and I think they either have to put a lot more faith in him, or they're going to have to switch roles a little bit.
All right, so the last ban out here, Clockwork, was taken away by HR, so they feel this is a one-position Faceless Void, quite likely, especially since Storm Spirit and SF, you can actually get, like, the only way I don't see the Faceless Void being run as a one-position if there was a Troll still in the field, but of course he's banned away in the first one, too, so that's really the only time we see Faceless Void offlane anymore, is if a team picks up a Troll. Pudge is going to be picked up by Hellraisers, though.
And for the first time, they're thinking about their pick.
Yeah, they instant pick up, and they go, okay, BBC, what are you going to do? A Pudge.
Well, they've got a while to consider it. What, like a minute, 20 seconds on top of the 20 active. Yeah, this is a bit of a wrench in the works to make sure that their lineup is how they want it to be, but no matter the case, they have a pretty good lineup as long as they have the good wards. That's the important thing, is where are Rubik and Skywrath going to be warding? They don't want to start the fight off with a hook. If that's the case, then yeah, they're already screwed. But this is offlane Pudge, right? Like offlane Earthshaker and offlane Pudge is the only real possibility.
Yeah, I think it's offlane Pudge until you get to, like, I don't know, like, you get maybe, like, level 2 or 3, and then maybe you start roaming around, and then Earthshaker can take over. I think there are basically 3 different ways you run this, right?
Okay.
Hard. Yeah, essentially. Like, basically the Pudge full-time offlane, the Earthshaker full-time offlane, or kind of like that split, where you get the Pudge to be able to roam around some. Especially with the Earthshaker, who's like kind of a free setup for that hook, it'd be a shame to see them kind of throw away the early game advantage that they could have by not having both the Earthshaker and Pudge in action at the same time.
And a cool thing, of course, is that with the Rot ability, this is making it very difficult for Rubik to find good steals. Like, you try to look at heroes that Rubik doesn't like to steal against, and it's like Pudge, Shadow Fiend, like it's really hard to it's really low impact to steal a raise, really hard to steal a requiem, and then Pudge with the rot can actually cover both of his spells too. Storm with if you don't have Storm's passive, his spells are just that much less effective, and Ancient Apparition should be able to cover up his ultimate. So it's really a Fisher game for Rubik, and it's gonna be a Wind Ranger game for Weehaw. That is a very interesting decision, as there's obviously a lot of nuke headed his way. Like, even if he's wind running, he's still going to be taking a lot of hits. But Storm in general, he'll lose at least half his damage when he can't auto attack. And yeah, I guess the amount of offensive potential that Wind Ranger brings is encouraging for them.
Yeah, certainly, and like it's one of the great cores that works really well around the Chronosphere. You know, it's just one of those, like, the Chronosphere sets up free power shot. You get, like, 2 seconds at the very least to be able to lay into that one hero. I think that's a pretty nice pickup. And it's also kind of like a very strong laning hero. So even though we don't typically see... Oh, it is going to be a one-position Wind Ranger. I thought Masakari might not be forced into the off-lane Faceless Void, but he will be playing it this game. Yeah. So good luck to him. Good luck to his Chronos. Hopefully he's feeling more confident about it than last time. And they're going to be running a one-position Weha Wind Ranger. I really thought that Wind Ranger or the Queen of Pain was going to be our offlane.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely thought it was a possibility, but I generally prefer Wind Ranger to actually take farm. In this context, she's going to be able to build up a good core, either the Maelstrom build that we've seen most common, or the newer Aghanim Crypt build. It's either magical or physical damage, whatever you want to spread the most. But really just a lot of emphasis on Focus Fire being her a tool to really get that damage out. And before anything really happens, I want to question about this ward that Masakari just placed. It's not going to get dewarded, I can assure you of that. But it doesn't really give him safety of moving up in the lane at all. It's just going to cover the river.
Yeah, it just gives you Rune River vision, as well as blocking out the medium camp. So, yeah, it's very unlikely. You do occasionally see, like, the counter ward will oftentimes be placed in the river, right? And I think you can actually see the ward if you hug the cliff here, right? So you can actually see it with the ranged hero and potentially kill it. So it's possible that they could kill this ward, but very unlikely, right? It's the least likely of the basically 3 different ward spots that you have for this medium camp to be countered. But that's mainly because it gives you the least amount of vision.
Yeah. And they often put down a sentry just preemptively, and if they put that in one of the standard spots on the eastern side before they even know that a camp isn't spawning, then there's no chance they're going to actually find that one. Yeah. So it's got to be based on this specific camp not spawning. The one cool thing that can happen with this camp being blocked off, though, the medium one that you're referencing, is that there's sometimes an attempt to go for a single pull around like the 43-second mark, somewhere in there, where you go for a single pull, you tango through the tree line, and you go to chain it up, and that'll pull back the wave. That'll make it so that the Void loses out on experience. But if you don't scout the spawns beforehand, because it's only 43 seconds in, then often you're like, there's no creeps here, and then suddenly you just hit a single pull, which does the Void a favor. But looks like we do have a pause on our hands. Yapsor, the captain, he's knocking out for a moment.
For those of you guys arguing in the chat, as you can see, Gotham is going to be playing the Earthshaker, not a big surprise. Quartz is going to be playing the offlane Pudge. So I know a lot of people were like, oh, offlane Earthshaker. But sorry, this isn't Jenkins. Not going to be playing the offlane Earthshaker. But I think there is still a very good chance that Gotham spends some time in the offlane. I think eventually the Pudge roams around, so... That is definitely a strong possibility. So, chat, if you're arguing with each other about who's going where, it could be you're both right.
Yeah, I mean, Earthshaker really has a lot of flexibility in this metagame. He's able to, what I'd like to call counter roam. It's essentially like, as long as he has a TP available, or he knows where the ganks are coming due to vision, then he's mostly going to be able to secure the safety of his cores, no matter where he is on the map. And so, like, he can start in one lane, find his way to another. It's just basically wherever you feel the biggest threat is, you can break that tension. You can fisher things apart and make sure that your hero keeps farming safely. It's why Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker work out so well together. It's not just, they have AoE synergy, he can turtle so that Shadow Fiend can always get his farm and that kind of stuff. No, it's protecting the laning phase by moving wherever he needs to on the map. And I especially like his item build for that purpose. Boots of Speed, 3 Clarities. Very simple, very much what he wants to accomplish. cover top lane, block it off most likely, and then make sure Shadow Fiend's safe in mid, and hop between to and fro to make sure that they are as safe as can be.
All right. Well, not too sure what poor Yapzor is up to, but hopefully we will get our next game, the last game of the night actually, started pretty soon. As this is actually, I want to take real quick here a look at the D2CL rankings because Burden United are now up to 10-2. Hellraisers are 7-3. 7-4 now after that loss in game number 1. If they can walk away with a win, they'll jump up to 8-4, which still puts them in a solid second place, but nowhere near close enough to be able to contest Burden United, really, unless Burden drop both games versus Power Rangers, which I do not anticipate at all. The only other team who could really contest Burden United for that first place slot would be Alliance, who are 5-3. They haven't actually played many of their matches. They already played their match against Burden and tied with them. If they could go ahead and win the rest of their games without dropping a single game, win all of them, and Burden United drop their one game up against Power Rangers, they would actually lead to a tie. But Burden United are in a great position right now. I don't anticipate them dropping both games versus Power Rangers. I just don't think it's possible. And in fact, I think it's very likely that they win both games. Simply because PR hasn't been looking fantastic, and Burden United have definitely been looking, good enough to beat PR.
Yeah, I mean, there's some consistency issues, but as the team gets more experience with one another, those usually gets resolved pretty quickly there. But yeah, I mean, in this game here, Hellraisers, I guess the pause helps them a little bit in the sense that they can get their heads back in the game, shake off game 1 a little bit. They know kind of how BBC want to move a little bit better, and they should be able to kind of look at this as a kind of a clean slate, a new game coming through. Internet going crazy, so it is BBC that have the pause perpetuated, but I think that HR are pretty happy just to take a breather and to tone down the adrenaline a little bit, because that last game was very up in the air in general. But one question I have for you is Pudge right now, you can't tell just by highlighting, but is that in range of the bounty rune for a meat hook? Because if you can hide in this position where the Dire Observer Ward doesn't see you, get a hook, and then you get a Fisher right on those steps, like that person doesn't get out alive. That's a first blood.
You're asking if the hook reaches to the bounty rune?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that long.
They buffed it, but
yeah, 1,000 range I think brings it pretty close. But I think from the steps he could. I think from the top of the steps he certainly can reach that far. So that could be a very easy bait, essentially, bounty rune into a first blood for yourself. Well worth it. But we'll see.
But if you look at Dire Vision, that's the problem. Is if he can't do it from pretty much this position, they're just narrow. I mean, if he's on, it's really close. Like if he's on the south part of the steps, top of the steps, then he's in the fog of war, and if he's on the north part, then he's just narrowly visible, and it's all the difference of seeing that animation or not.
Yeah. All right, Maz pings out. Looks like this is going to be perhaps taking a while, so we'll take a short little break. When we come back, we will have the last game of the night. Hellraisers versus BBC, game number 2. So we are back here. Whoa. What was that? Fisher block. Looks like they're going to try and just get the bounty rune here in the top lane. Got him, gets it. And
oh!
All right, that's one way to deal with telekinesis. Brilliant play there from Gotham and Gorak.
Was worried he'd be up on the cliff. That would have been quite a sad sight to see, but hook always available, able to bail Buddy out, and I actually definitely prefer him going for the hook early instead of the rot, so that he actually has something to do at level 1. A lot of see a lot of Pudges still go rot level 1 and doesn't really accomplish much, but we're seeing this Fisher already do some work, guaranteeing a bounty rune and now blocking off the top lane. That creep room is so perfect for the Pudge.
Oh, it certainly is. The Pudge should be able to get level 2 off of just this creep equilibrium right here, even if they do manage to bring it back a little bit. He can even go forward, especially since it's a dual lane, and soak up the experience from the neutral camp. So it feels like level 2 should be assured for him. Middle lane, though, because it's a dual lane top, it means there's a missing support. That's because Levy is here in the middle lane. The Skywrath Mage is harassing out the SF. It's already a lane that's kind of dangerous up against the Queen of Pain, but You throw in a Skywrath Mage in range, and that is going to be a lot of extra harassment between those two heroes. So right now we just have Afo sitting back and only getting CS through his maxed out Shadow Rays. But we'll probably be able to come forward now that Levy is out of lane and showing himself at top. But middle, we do have that matchup exist. Actually blinks forward and tries to fight Afo and may just be able to get the kill. The Tango, the last click, he does get it. Exist picks up first blood up against the SF, thanks in part to the Skywrath Mage's early harassment.
Yeah, and check out bottom now. Actually, exactly what I was talking about with that Ancient Apparition is what occurred. The spawn blocked. He tried to double it up with the 43-second pull through, and he actually went for a single pull instead of a double pull. So suddenly, all these ranged and melee creeps stacking up together. Masakari gets tons of experience that he shouldn't have, and it's thanks to this ward blocking things off. Now looking at the Sentry, they get the clear vision, and they finally will take care of this, but that's 2 minutes without their medium camp spawning, and the single pull hurts HR's ability to zone out Masakari dramatically.
Oh, got it. Maybe in some trouble here as Exist. Already slowed down the Earthshaker. 1 miss already. Afo's here. And that will probably... No, actually, is this going to go for the secondary blink here? It's up in 1 second. It's going to be underneath the tier 1 tower if he really wants to go for this one. Another right click, and he should be able to secure it or just wait out the poison. And he will get the kill. Exist will miss a lot of time in lane, but it's well worth it because Afo's still trying to chase him around a bit. They do have Dread who's coming in with the invisible rune, but what is an Ancient Apparition really going to do to you so early on? In fact, Exist now level 4 up against the level 2 Shadow Fiend. This is not the fight you want, Afo, as he may die a secondary time, but Dread, the surprise factor comes in. Exist still able to blink away in time, though. They do not want to play too many games with that Queen of Pain and risk their SF dying. Afo is going to be forced all the way back to base, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't ferry himself a staff. He actually just grabs a TP scroll. So he's going to go all the way back and refill the bottle as well as heal up to full. And then he'll be back out of the lane trying to get his level 3. In the meantime, Queen of Pain, she's so low, she's doing the same, but she'll have boots. So she might not have to TP forward. And Yapsor actually gets the experience in the meantime. So it's actually definitely a better exchange for BBC. Rubik's getting a lot more out of it. They didn't scout out the stack when Queen of Pain was that direction. There's only a double here on the Western Radiant side, but either way, just really good movement for BBC to get that second kill and obviously to get Rubik what he needs.
Another attempt at a double pull, but Masakari is going to be able to interrupt that one. They'll keep the range creep on the neutrals, but Masakari will grab the other 2 melee creeps away. Exist, continuing some aggression. Nice blink backwards. Still takes the damage, though. And, yeah, I love the way he's really pushing this, especially with the second level and Shadow Strike so early on to make sure he's able to be as aggressive as humanly possible. Really leading the charge. And it all comes down, I think, to that Skywrath Mages sitting on that middle lane, setting Exist up for success in the future.
Yeah. Now, there is some potential for Gork to actually get a kill against the Skywrath. Only 530 HP. The hook does 180 pure, so he's going to do some magical damage, maybe a right click or 2. But he's so worried about that Wind Ranger coming in, or even the Rubik being missing from the map, that he's not really willing to commit. So he's just staying back, trading when he has to. But Storm Spirit's actually going to get a kill on Masakari there. No ball lightning, so that really is just the chilling touch right clicks with a little bit of overload slow.
Yeah, I wonder if Faceless Void was just playing too aggressive, because honestly, I'm looking at the bottom lane, I'm going, until ball lightning, there is very little, like practically no chance of getting a kill. Top lane, though,
vortex,
that is really where the kill should happen, but Goretz has now been silenced up. Can he hit the hook? No, he's shackled to a neutral, and now he's going to have to go for that last hook save, because I don't think he's making out of this one alive here. He does have a potion, so perhaps he could heal up. The Fisher comes into play. Power shot, though, combines with that nuke. And sure enough, Goretz will fall in that top lane. Back over to bottom. Masakari fighting up against Artist. Can he get the bash? Nope. No, he cannot. Banking on RNG perhaps a bit too much, and Artist picks up another kill up against the Faceless Void, again, without really needing ball lightning.
Yeah, the aggression for this Void is just kind of absurd. He's in a matchup 1 versus 2. He shouldn't have to die in this kind of position where he has the time walk available, but he's just committing to fights that he doesn't have to take. One aspect is his skill build. Both times I've seen him offlane Void, he never takes backtrack until level 8 or 9 or even later. Like, this guy hates backtrack, and that's how you really have any chance of surviving when you're trying to trade hits. But he goes for the most offensive build he can, 2 time walk, 3 time block, and it's just costing him his life. 2 deaths, maybe on the cliff? Yeah, it's got him. Is on the cliff. He will TP away eventually, though. No way to cancel.
Yeah, I think he's very happy with that one. He's just like, whatever, put me on the cliff. I was going to have to TP out of that engagement anyway. You know, that was going to be too risky for him to just try and run out, especially with Afo being so shut down. I mean, he's finally got some CS as he was able to clear through that hard camp a little bit and has been able to raise for some CS, but boy, he's going to be suffering quite heavily for the next few minutes. Of course, you can only shut down an SF so much in the laning phase. He is one of those heroes that always makes the comeback. But YapzOr, there's going to be another kill. Telekinesis leading, and with the ultimate of the Queen of Pain, a quick killing spree now for Exist. 6.5 minutes in, establishing dominance as the Queen of Pain. Per the lore, she is going to be very happy with the situation she's sitting in. Top lane, what happened here?
The hook missed. The melee creep that's at low HP right now got in the way despite the Fisher setup. We did get hit by that nuke, and yeah, he's just perfectly fine. So he's actually going to finish his Hand of Midas here in just the next creep wave. And I got to say, the Earthshaker Pudge combo really hasn't accomplished too much. I guess it's better than what's happened down bottom for Void, but only because of the passivity.
Faceless Void. He really wants to, it's a shame, really, because if he wasn't as aggressive as he, you know, kind of fed away 2 kills, he would probably be level 6 right now. But those 2 deaths ended up losing him a lot of time in the laning phase. Obviously, is now kicking him back constantly. If he was level 6, he could roam around a bit, you know, and he could afford to actually gank up the SF or perhaps go all the way to top and try and go for a double kill or something like that. But because he doesn't have that kind of holding ability, he's just kind of stuck to make this work. And he's still doing okay in experience-wise, but Dread has definitely caught up by quite a bit. I mean, my typical rule of support versus offlane is that you want to keep yourself the same level as the offlaner. Whether that's shutting him down completely and shutting yourself down at level 1 by 6 minutes.
Oh, they're going.
Ooh, wow, that jump. Artist is going to be able to grab him thanks to the Soul Ring. All the extra mana in the world is there for the Storm Spirit, but now hiding himself in the side here. TP out, YapzOr, Telekinesis, not in time.
That was close. That really was. But, yeah, that's just another death for the Void. I won't blame that one so much about him, like, overstepping his bounds. He's just trying to get 6, just trying to leech the experience, and was able to actually get almost half a level just based on the... Oh, Weehaw getting hooked up top! Goretz does not have enough mana for the Dismember, though. 5 mana off. He gets caught with his Rod active under a shackle, and Weehaw's going to be fine. Meanwhile, towards mid Exist, Stalking Prey, Alpha Ninja. They could probably 2 versus 1 him with Levi's skills.
Yeah, if I know anything about BBC, they love the old 2 versus 1 situation, but they're not going to be able to find the opening. Afo's playing pretty defensively, and I think that's one of his biggest strengths as an SF player. He knows when to sit back. He knows, like, okay, it's not going to be as much as I get in lane sometimes, but even just farming up a single stack is worth, you know, making sure I do not die again in lane. So he's now up to 41 CS. He is beginning to catch up to the Queen of Pain, level 8, to the Quaps level 8 now. And is actually net worth wise, is he nope, he's still a good 1,000 gold behind Exist, so still hasn't caught up in gold just due to the constant kills for Exist, but perhaps a rotation from these supports. Pudge is level 6, has that Dismember ready to go. If they actually catch the Queen of Pain in the hook, that should be a free kill. In fact, the Ice Blast is coming in, but got him. He's already been silenced up. He won't be able to get off the Fissure and could die. There goes the ultimate. Still gets off the Fissure, though. Enchant Totem, he doesn't have it. Only level 3. The hook, though, snags the Skywrath Mage, plucks his wings away. And Goretz does find that first kill of the game for him.
I'm not really sure why the Earthshaker walked in there if he didn't have Enchant Totem. Like, he couldn't follow it up. He could have best Magic Stick and right-click once. And even 2 right-clicks seemed ambitious in that situation. They were pretty close to Shadow range, but...
Well, that proves to be a bit of a circus there. A good juke, I suppose, by the Faceless Void. Meanwhile, Afo's got himself a haste rune. Exist going to try and get out of here, but the race to finish him off, and that is a huge kill there. Afo picks up a big pick-off on the Queen of Pain, thanks in part to the haste rune, and Dread teasing his Pudge a little bit for that clowny hook play onto Artez.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch it. He ball lightning forward.
He ball lightning forward, grabbed the Faceless Void, but of course, with only level 1 Electric Vortex, it didn't last long enough, and Mazukari just ran backwards, and the hook ended up snagging Storm Spirit instead.
Yeah.
And
almost connecting. Oh, just a little bit of range there. It's maxed out, but still not able to get it from that distance, and that would have been critical if they could actually get the hook on him when he was already afflicted by Ice Blast. But Yeah, they're still fishing for a void that it looks like he's just going to kind of hide under the tower and survive. Even though this Radiant Observer does give them good intel, he seems to have good movement here. Anyways, up top, Earthshaker, he's going to get some good creeps and move in to fix those level issues he had before. That's the one problem that Gotham has. Although he sets up his allies to thrive in the laning phase, he himself kind of sacrifices his own experience. They'll kind of space create in mid, or in fact, maybe a gank coming through, as we do have a smoke deceit on BBC.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the moment Skywrath Mage picks up his level 6, he's going to head down to the bottom lane. I mean, this is not one of those faceless voids who has enough farm to get kills by himself. If they want to make anything out of this Chronosphere, they're going to need some help. Dread, free pick off there. They could still keep looking for an extra kill since the Chronosphere is up. If they land the Chronosphere on the Storm Spirit, they followed up with the Skywrath Mage ultimate. Easy kill. But, of course, Artez, seeing that, is actually going to go up to the top lane. Now, they do have a laning ward, but it hasn't actually revealed the Storm Spirit. Now they see him. And Weha, seeing the Storm Spirit there, they're actually going to be able to get some rotations from Masakari. They see Goretz first, though, and they go, well, a Pudge here. They're going to be able to get this kill. The Shackle Shot. No, they're actually going to get Masakari. He couldn't leap away in time as the Fisher stopped that one. Artez is low on mana here. Goretz does have a regen, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to see the opportunity to use it. Pops it towards the end, but it doesn't do anything. And a trade-off there. Faceless Void in exchange for the Pudge. Off lane for off lane.
There's a possible snipe coming through. Rubik has Ice Blast, and Storm did walk away low. Gonna throw it out right down the mid lane.
Oh, oh, no. I thought he was going to stop it at that tier 2, and I thought he would have gotten the kill. But, hey, well played. Somebody called that out. You see the way Artez ran backwards like that. I think that was Afo saying, whoa. I just saw the Ice Blast, the marker, go past this tier 2 or the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and for there's a lot of people that don't understand this, but if there is a true site, so anything gems, sentries, towers, and the Ice Blast goes over top of it, you can see a little red dot on your minimap, and that's the information you need to make a dodge like that. So, yeah, the Storm Spirit is perfectly fine. Now going to be smoking up and TPing for another gank. And although it was a great steal from the App Store, he hasn't been able to connect with an Ice Blast just yet. Sending one up top.
Weha knows something fishy is up, man. Goretz comes forward. The Ice Blast. Nice blink away. Weha with the very early Blink Dagger pickup. Yeah. Considering he went for Phase Boots and Midas, this Blink Dagger is very fast. Dread's going to be caught. And they will be able to take this kill. In the middle lane, though, they also get the Skywrath Mage support for support, I suppose. And they're actually setting up for potentially making the dive here. Goretz, I thought he was going to walk around behind that tier 1 tower, but it's instead sitting on this classic hook spot to see if he can't catch the Rubik. But if he stays here too long, there is the rotation out from Exist as well as Masakari. Got him, though. The Invis. This is going to be huge. He could potentially hold up Exist. The Fisher's going to come out. They bring in Exist. A little bit of wonky plays, but they'll still get the kill on that Queen of Pain. And Afo gets off the ultimate, blows up the Faceless Void. No backtrack for you. No chance in RNG. So they get the double there. As Goretz cleans up the Wind Ranger, Yapsor was able to get himself ahead of both Afo and got him.
What can you say? The man hates backtrack, but there's some times where you're losing your entire health bar. It seems like it would be pretty beneficial, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna see HR ganking flawlessly. They are finding some really great opportunities here, and that's even without the Storm Spirit really getting involved too much. He's gonna go for his Bloodstone, and then he's gonna look for some real kill momentum, but he's fine to farm for just a couple minutes. The interesting thing is that utility buildup from Weha, the Blink Dagger and the Midas. Midas, obviously, he got it like 6.5, 7 minutes, so it's going to give him a good mid to late game trajectory in his items and levels, but the Blink Dagger, it's a very old build that we saw on offlaners frequently because you get the shackle shots at the perfect angle. But my question then is, where's the damage coming from? It's pretty much Queen of Pain and Skywrath only, and everything else is control.
I kind of like it just because in conjunction with the Faceless Void, like, you know, he's going to make a long leap in. Force Staff may not do it for you. You know, you want to be able to instantly be in position to benefit from that Chronosphere, hold time, and focus fire on somebody. So you're right. There is no damage. Bottom lane.
This is going to be going down quickly. It was just almost going to be an easy kill on the Earthshaker, but Artez coming in, brings down the Void in turn, and Exists, dropping down to 40 HP.
Look at that Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, though. It's heading into the fountain. They're going to hit Exist. Unfortunately, it's just a bit too late, I think.
It's close.
It's going to be real close.
It's got to be 100 HP, and it's going to be just shy. Yeah, just shy.
So if he just thrown that out a little bit sooner, he could have gotten that kill. But as is, the Queen of Pain will survive. Goretz seems to be going for an early pipe here, up against all this magic damage. I mean, the Queen of Pain ultimate, now pure damage, so not going to affect that. But there is still a lot of magic damage out of the Skywrath Mage for sure. And there is, you know, some Wind Ranger damage with the power shot. Most likely, we see a lot of Maelstroms picked up. Do you think that's the route you go here with your Wind Ranger, or do you actually go for the Crystals build?
If you see the pipe, if he's checking Goretz's items, then he should see that pipe of insight in progress, and he should go for something else. He should go for physical damage output there, Desolator, crit, Aghanim, stuff like that. But we do see right now Alpha Ninja getting caught out. They're going to get the shackle perfectly.
Oh, that was beautiful. YapzOr with the ultimate. They'll actually get the return, though, thanks to the Ice Blast. Dread is going to be hit by this ultimate, but the hook straight into Levy. He's going to be able to maybe finish off Dread. No, Exist is there for the kill, though. Got him, though, trying to lock him up with the Enchant Totem. Can't hit it. Goretz, can you land the hook? It's in 1 second time. Perhaps just the Dismember. Dismember, then hook, Dismember. Doesn't matter. Exist dies either way. And Artez chases away Weha, who barely lives through that bit of aggression. But fortunately for him, Artez runs out of mana.
Yeah, and the Wind Run. He dodged 2 key auto attacks with the Overload passive on them, but he just couldn't actually get the kill because he didn't have the Ball Lightning mana. So, yeah, is able to survive just with the Wind Run barely coming out of time. Walks away, uses the Midas for efficiency, and can even power shot this down at long range if he wants to. But as far as the item in question is going to be the Aghanim Scepter, so he's going to be reducing the damage reduction that the ultimate focus. Oh, nice Ice Blast dodge too. But yeah, he's reducing the coefficient of focus fire that negates some of Wind Ranger's damage during the ultimate. And of course, he is also getting some nice stats to work with.
Ooh, that's a Blink Dagger. If Gotham gets away, which it looks like he will, that's now the Blink Dagger for him. Huge pickup. And kind of interesting, the double circlets. I mean, what in the world do you make of that?
I actually just love a double circlet in general. I've been playing it a lot more when I random supports than anything else. But if you have the extra gold to work with, it's so slot efficient. Now it's only 165 gold. Like, you can just take it here and start brawling with him. You have more stats for your mana, and this means he doesn't have to go Arcane Boots yet. I mean, obviously he will, but he didn't have to go Arcanes before Blink, and in part, the +4 stats has a huge part to play in that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Sir Shaker was able to make the early game work without even a Soul Ring, which is a pretty common pickup nowadays for a Shaker. Just straight up Blink Dagger. A very early timing indeed, though, 19 minutes. Part in thanks to that last hit on the Tier 1 tower, which BBC did not try and contest at all. It is 14-11 here, 19 minutes in to game number 2 between these two teams. Balkan Bears did Savage HR in game number 1, but it seems to be going the other way now in game 2 as HR are really taking it to the BBC.
Yeah, and like right now, the 2-2 is going away for free. They don't feel confident in this fight whatsoever. They're just going to go ahead and try to rat it out down bottom. But we are going to see Gotham making his move, and he does have that Blink Dagger. It's going to be Ice Blast flying through onto Exist. Can he actually go for the Echo Slam here?
Oh, easily. He's got the Fissure to finish him up, and there goes. They do steal the Fissure for YapzOr, and that's going to be something he can hold on to later. Or perhaps still go for the kill. Top lane, though, Weha makes a quick blink away to Dread's aggression.
Even still, the game plan here was to have the Queen of Pain down bottom and to bait like 3 TPs for the Tier 1 defense, maybe 2. And then the smoked up heroes would just clean them up. Mazakari jump in with the Chronosphere, no problem at all. That's a fight in their favor because they also have the Skywrath. But one hero rotates, one hero insta-gives your Queen of Pain, and you're left wondering, well, what do I do now? I'm down here, we'll push the tower, I guess, but like, that wasn't the game plan for BBC. They wanted a tower and they wanted a successful fight, and they got neither.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's see. I'm a bit surprised that Dread hasn't actually gone for the Hand of Midas. Picks up Power Treads. We don't really see that too often. Bottom lane, they're going to jump in. The Ice Blast landing on a Masakari, and Artez easily cleans that one up. Levy now is forced to kind of fight Artez, maybe bait him into his allies, who are sitting in the back outside of Night Vision. Now the jump in from Artez. Can they turn this one around? Fissure onto Artez as a crisscross happens there. Nice blink away from Exist, but it was a panic blink indeed as he's now locked himself inside the trees, unable to help out his allies. Got him, though. He's going to be caught a bit too aggressive by him. Exist now comes forward, sees Goretz and is going to go for that kill. The hook misses once again, and Goretz, stranded inside the river, is going to feel the poke, and the stolen hook onto Goretz. Yapzor is at it again. Levy's going to give up his own life, though, as he's a bit too far. Nice shackle shot from Weha, but can they actually do much with this? Exist does have his ultimate. He can finish off Dread, bounces himself backwards. Meanwhile, Afo comes in, Chronosphere onto Artez. They really want to go for this kill. Exist, he does have another nuke, but it's not enough. The mech comes out from Afo, and Artez will live quite easily, and BBC are now on the run.
Still, I mean, these hooks coming, or sorry, the spell steals coming out from the Rubik are insane. Getting the Fissure to break down the Fissure initiation is just fun to look at, but that Rubik hook, just enabling them to get some really clutch plays coming out, even bringing down the Pudge with his own weapon of choice. This, I mean, Yapzor is really playing this well. You can blame Goretz a little bit for not rock covering his hookup. You can pretty much toggle instantly to try to prevent that, but it happens in the end, and yeah, the Rubik is able to capitalize on that very nicely. Now he's got a Yule set up for his hook. He can actually Yules them, he can telekinesis them, anything he wants to set up the hook, and that's going to be just great initiation for them. Looks like there is going to be an Ice Blast flying through. Matsukari eating that Echo Slam. That is going to be just more quick picks for Gotham. And he's actually turned these circlets into bracers. Like, he's going for a very stat-oriented build. And you also mentioned something else. The Treads and Urn of Shadows build up for Dread here. And what this is showing you is that they are trying to increase their bottom line of HP. They know that they're going to have the magic damage figured out once this pipe comes through, but the pure damage and the physical damage is still an issue. So the only answer to that is build HP, 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 and Bracer Dota, Treads, Urn Dota. That's going to allow these supports to survive throughout the fights.
Bloodstone for Artez. He's already got 10 Bloodstone charges, plus another 2,200 gold. Manta and Mech. Oh, hook on Exist. There we go. That's a free pickoff right there, and free tier 2 on top of that. Not even sure why he was coming over if BBC were clearly going to give up that bottom part.
Well, he has an Orchid, so maybe he was looking for just a quick pick solo play as somebody that he presumes is squishy. But if you actually look at the raw HP of everybody, there's no good target for that. Even like the Ancient Apparition is almost 1,000 hit points himself. And that Observer Ward really just pays for itself. Look at the wards coming out from Hellraisers right now. Like, is that not beautiful how they're going to be able to just completely suppress BBC?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for BBC to actually control these. Like, the bottom tier 2 and the middle tier 2 are such easy pickups now with that kind of super aggressive vision. And the lead that you have with heroes like Storm Spirit, like Pudge, those kind of heroes. Earthshaker is actually another one, thanks to that Ice Blast, who can just like jump in freely and solo pick off a hero with their burst damage. How can you actually, route around, in the secret shop to catch someone on the side or something like that? BBC don't really have any crafty plays besides smoke that they can do. They either stay grouped up as 5 or they smoke up. That's the only option that they have, which means their line of defense is very straightforward, right? They have lots of vision to see Matsukari try and blink in and get that Chronosphere. They see where Exists and Weihan's going to be coming in. Whoa, I didn't even see that one. Skywrath Mage picked off in the top lane. What's he doing up there?
Well, he's just trying to farm out wherever he can, and there maybe create a distraction for bottom lane. But essentially, Storm not only TP'd, but he zipped like a quarter of the way across the map. He just has so much mana to work with right now. Oblivion and Bloodstone are great tools to increase your mana regen and your base pool as well. They commit 2 Sentry Wards. They finally take care of the ward that killed the Queen of Pain with that Pudge hook. And with that lack of intel, they want to go for a smoke play. Do they go for the Roche with that Mascomanus? Do they go for a kill to try to get some experience back in their favor? It looks like it is going to be Roshan, but this is dangerous even with the Observer Ward that's on the high ground. Looks like for now, Hellraisers, they're not smoking just yet. They'll throw out the Ice Blast to the pit, but to get there is going to take a little bit more time.
BBC. Yeah, they're going to run scared from that one. They're like, whoa, that's not a fight we want. Yapzor, though. Wink. Goretz gets another. This guy.
Yeah.
Goretz is quite the hooker. I don't know if he's actually practiced in some of his early days. I'm not sure if he was maybe one of those.
He's an experienced hooker, believe me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know his past. Maybe he was one of those lost souls that, just needed money and was looking for a good time. But Goretz has certainly shown a lot of experience here in this game number 2 of HR versus BBC.
Yeah, so the Observer Sentries are now actually seeing their gank.
Oh, another one, Levy!
See them, but just can't dodge them. He's able to connect, and with an Aegis on top of that on the Storm, the Orchid flying out, can they not just go right to the tier 3? Like, it's got to be a perfect Chronosphere to prevent this movement. They don't see Masakari right now, so they have to be a little wary, but all the same, they have some great damage coming out, and the tier 3 is going to fall quick.
Yeah, I don't know what they're planning on here because Exist still isn't coming back. He's finally TP'd back to the fountain. And the problem is there's just so much tank on these heroes. Like Afo, he's going to Strength Treads, right? In anticipation of the jump here from Masakari, who is going to catch 2, but who do they go on? The tanky SF who gets the hook out, or Artez, who's got an Aegis, who's now going to be able to jump onto Exist, quickly kill him, Echo Slam on 2, got him both, baby, as 2 fall, 3 fall actually. BBC do have the buyback out from Exist, but it's not going to do enough to deter HR from claiming that mid laner Rax, and they're going to go for more. Ooh, this is a very greedy Hellraisers, but they know, without a Chronosphere, without, you know.
Yeah. I mean, trading cooldowns, what did they really lose there? There's going to be a nice Shackle coming through. Sonic Wave will be able to pop the Aegis, but even still, you committed everything you have to try to bring that down. Gotham still survives for a little bit longer.
26.
And a hook on the Levi.
Wow, Levy gets hooked. He cannot stay away from Goretz, man. He tries and he tries, but he just keeps coming back. Artez going to be able to finish him up. Weha done for. And the Queen of Pain, well, she gets the Earthshaker, but she's going to pay. Goretz, he wants some of her, but nah, he's not going to eat it. TP out. Should be fine. Just barely. The Orchid's not going to finish him off inside of the fountain either. BBC not going to find any openings.
Yeah, this is just really HR putting on a clinic here. They have pushed every advantage that they were given at the beginning of the game, and have been able to just really execute on this lineup to the fullest potential. Like, I can't actually think of a better way they can move and kill and use their abilities to just find every opportunity. They really like using the Ice Blast Echo Slams. They've used that multiple times over. Jumping with the Storm whenever there's a support free. Everything has been perfect, especially these hooks.
Why, Yapsor? Oh, that's one of the saddest things you could see as a support. You're just like, la-di-da-di-da, I'm a go ward, and all of a sudden, and you die in one hit. Now the jump into the middle lane where Levy's going to be hit by the ball lightning and taken out nice and quick beyond godlike for Artez. This game, man. Poor BBC. Oh,
Don't
Fisher.
worry, Bud's got treads. He's got the power treads.
Oh, there we go. He's I got the power. Got him. He knows what was coming. TP's preemptively to the Queen of Pain, attempting to catch him. But no can do.
Dagon on Storm Spirit, because why not? 19 Bloodstone charges. Like, this guy.
Yeah.
He's having a good game.
He can just roll and roll and roll and roll.
So,
still no pipe for Goretz, by the way. He just went the Hooded Defiance and then the mobility items.
That's exactly what I was looking at. I'm like, but why bother then? But you know what? It's hardly an issue here. I think it's kind of like if she builds a Maelstrom, then you could say, oh, okay, build Hyper quick and deal with that. But with the Sonic Wave being pure damage, like, it can be a selfish item. You don't have to have team-wide damage block because there's really minimal amounts of AoE magic damage coming out from BBC.
Got him. Gotta be snagged here. Wait,
That's
how
a dieback,
trips him up with the
technically.
shackle? Yeah. Did he? Wait, did he really buy
Yeah, he
back?
bought back in the fight. He was very ragey in the midst of that. So, yeah, he got back into it. On the back side of things.
Oh, nice blink in. Pulls Masakari back. Almost gets him, but now Goretz is going to be surrounded by 5.
Power Tread saves the void. It's an OP item. It really is.
And the comeback? Is the comeback
Yes.
real for BBC?
Comeback Power Tread's hype. I'm ready for it, but I don't know. They're down to full lane of Rax. They don't really have that much kill potential unless they isolate somebody. And Dagons are just being maxed out for the Storm Spirit. If you have to epitomize snowballing, this guy is snowball lightning out of control.
Skyreath Mage, no, stop leaving this area. This is your base. You stay inside there. Stop leaving and making me missing kills.
It's like the little kid keeps on getting out of the ball pit, and you're like, no, just stay put. You're safe there. But
or like the The bugs to the zapping. Whoa, hold up here. Masakari going to be able to grab 2. Is this a potential setup? Weha in the middle, but Artez grabs Exist, make sure there's no Sonic Wave out or any additional abilities. Weha trapped by the Fisher, unable to get out. Echo Slam on top of 2, takes out the Queen of Pain, and Yapzor, bye-bye. 2 down, 3 down, a buyback out from Weha is going to be able to grab Masakari. Nope. Jumps away. Artez gets a ball lightning out. Unfortunately, Weha doesn't latch the chain there. And BBC down to 3. Stan.
This guy. Had a rough start, but at least he's having some fun with it here. But we're just going to see the jump in. Levi in a nice position for that level 2 Mystic Flare. No Shackle to connect, though. If that was a Shackle, that's a dead Earthshaker thanks to the Mystic Flare. But either way, they've always have the Bloodstone Suicide in reserve. Like, Artez doesn't want to use it this way, but what he could do is Bloodstone Suicide, he'll respawn instantly, and he'll heal up his team to full because of how many charges he has. Like, the Bloodstone at this level gives you the free Aegis as well as like a AoE cheese. Like, Artez is really able to do a lot with the momentum he's built underneath him.
Celebratory Ice Blast, I guess, from Dread. Just throws it out in the middle lane, just for no reason. He's just like, oh, ice cream cones for everybody. I don't know. 33 to 18. It's 32 minutes in. It's pretty much over. But BBC are having fun with this game. Seems like HR are too. So it's over 15,000 gold lead, over a 20,000, rather 15,000 experience, 20,000 gold lead for HR.
They're just down 4 racks. It's not a big deal. You know.
Don't worry, Masakari's just giving Sing Sing for his run of money there with the 0-9 and 3 Faceless Void.
It happens. It happens.
Masakari's never gonna play Faceless Void again. Like
Yapzor's
gonna be like,
dude, I'm gonna be like face palming when they pick it for him because he's had 2 miserable games in a row, and then casters curse him and he'll go 25-0. He'll just play the best Faceless Void you've ever seen.
Have you ever been in that position on a team where you just play really badly on a hero like 2 times in a row in an official match? I'll tell you, I have, and it's like, it's a goddamn nightmare when your drafter's like, I'm going to draft you this, and you're like, no, not again, I don't want to show it, because you're just like, you get that point, you're just like, oh god, I'm known now to be this like terrible Faceless Void. It's like when you play Clockwork, and you miss that first hook shot, and your allies are like, oh, fucking new Clockwork, right? And then at that point in time, you're like, oh god, I can't miss another hook shot. There's so much pressure, because you're like, they're already expecting me to fail.
Exactly. Certainly. They're going to see Ice Blast scout out the pit. They're going to drop their no talismans down. You might want to pick those up for a little bit of HP because, yeah, that hurts. Actually, is he going to die because he did that? Oh, that'd be hilarious. Because the way increasing your strength after you've lost after you've been hit by the Ice Blast actually makes it so you lose the percentage of your HP. And some people could chatter when they try to morph, when they try to tread toggle, stuff like that. It would have been hilarious if dropping his stuff and picking it back up was actually the difference maker for that blast, but it isn't the Ags AA.
Oh, Masakari's done moonwalking, tries to go for a Chronosphere, but only locks in Goretz. Meanwhile, Gotham certainly gets blown up. The DD of Weha and the rest of Nukes easily clean him up, 1 for 1 there, but another Rage buyback out from our Faceless Void. Or rather, sorry, our Earthshaker will come back. Our Faceless Void, no such option, as he does not have the buyback. Quick blink away from Gotham. And now the jump in from Artez finds Levy. Oh, exists. Just 1 step ahead of that hook. But Weha, not quite as lucky. Fishered up, taken out. Yapzor just playing around with ball lightning at this point. He's going to try and TP out. Typical Storm Spirit play, but no, Yapzor, you can't really match the majesty of the Storm. Goretz jumps in onto 2 with the rod going. Levy's going to die as secondary time as the Pudge racking up those strength gains. Exist. Blinks back to the fountain. He will be good. A missed blind hook out from Goretz. And Exist singing along with me. Ha, 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 ha. Stay alive. Stay alive. Masakari certainly isn't, though.
Not so much. Backtrack that, please. It's too good. It is just too good. More Dagons. No E.
Come on, Exist. You can do it.
Oh, the timer.
You did it.
Oh, saved by the bell. We do see Hellraisers taking this game 39-20 in what turned out to be a clown fest at the very end.
Yeah, that was definitely an entertaining game when it comes down to it. When Goretz, the hooker, tries to wrestle on 5 men of the BBC Persuasion, turns out the hooker actually comes out on top. So congratulations to HR. They take a game off of BBC, and we'll end this in a 1-for-1 tie. Same goes up against Burn United, so they keep themselves solidly in that second place slot. But that now brings us to a close. Blaze, thanks so much for joining me, man. It was a lot of fun. Do you got any shout-outs?
Well, shout out to Join Dota for having me on once again, and of course to D2CL for bringing us these awesome games. But I myself just tickled to death at getting to watch EU Dota at its most high adrenaline. Like, this is just fun to watch, so it's a treat for me, to be honest. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. At Blaze Casting from my co-caster, go give him some love. At Dota Capitalist, go give me some hate on Twitter. And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We will see you guys next time, tomorrow, in fact, on the live stream where more D2CL matches. And, yeah, no ESL matches, just D2CL tomorrow. See you then.